Well, sitting up here with the full city council is our guest of honor, Congressman Ken Calvert. And, yeah. And standing at the other podium is my council colleague, Dr. Matt Ron, who is also on the I-15 task force together with me and many of you out here today. I'd also like to recognize that we have a second congressman with us, Congressman Duncan Hunter. Congressman, please stand. Thank you for being here, Congressman Hunter. We have an extraordinary group of elected officials and dignitaries here from federal, state, county, and all of our neighboring cities within our very special region of Southern California. We also have several who have flown here from Washington, D.C., including the United States Department of Transportation Assistant Secretary Adam Sullivan, and several others whom we'll mention later on. We have never had an event on top of our garage. Then again, we've never been awarded $50 million in grant money. This is the highest grant award in the history of the city. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we've had our share of grants, trust me. The reason for this venue is for the view of the northbound 15 traffic that we are about to fix. And of course, to my left here, well, we did have a live feed here a moment ago. It's only 3 p.m., so it doesn't look bad now. Well, all right. There you go. If this is what we call not bad, you can imagine what bad is. It's about to get a lot worse out there. So we've timed it perfectly so you can't leave. And so, I know it was a struggle for us because we contemplating having this later in the day, but many of you would never have made it here. But now that you're here, we have some excellent restaurant recommendations, okay, within walking distance. Welcome to Temecula, everybody. I'm going to turn the event over now to Dr. Matt Ron to set the stage.
All right. Well, I can't say how proud I am to be here today. This is an amazing event, a lot of work and a lot of dedication to a collaborative voice that really came together to shout out to our folks across the nation that this freeway is one of the most congested in the country and deserves the recognition and the support that we've received. Common sense will tell us to pave the median along the I-15 freeway to pop in some extra lanes, and believe me, that's still on the list of things to do. But working with our transportation experts and those at WRCOG, it was pretty obvious that one of the biggest solutions is resolving the weaving that goes back and forth between the split at the I-15 and 215 there. That causes this ripple effect all the way down this corridor in the afternoon like we're seeing here now. And this French Valley project will address that exact issue and help put us on the path to tremendous success in moving vehicles through this valley. During this analysis, we also learned that about 2/3 or more of the traffic is completely unrelated to Temecula. We received this somewhat undeserved name called Trafficecula, I think is what they started coining it. It's when we find out that truly most of the vehicles going through here, this is an international transportation and commerce corridor. And we find out that it's, a lot of folks just trying to get through this valley. And I remember talking to Congressman Calvert very early on in this process saying that, a city of, roughly 113,000 people and a tribe as well in the valley should not be listed in the top 10 worst congested freeways in the United States, right? And nor should it be our responsibility to subsidize the state or federal government in fixing that problem. And so that message was heard. I I flew back to D.C. on more than one occasion. I was kind of joking with the congressman earlier, and Congressman Hunter knows this. I was in your offices more than I think you cared for me to be. Constantly advocating this, getting the message out there, and making sure that everybody heard this voice. And it wasn't just my voice. This I-15 task force was made up of representatives from all of our regional cities, the county of Riverside, thank you Supervisor Washington, our elected representatives in the Assembly and the Senate, local businesses, federal and state agencies, fire, police. I mean, everybody had a voice in this, along with our tribal partners who had a very unique perspective on this. And so this $50 million comes at a very important time in our history. And Congressman Calvert made sure that the city of Temecula was represented. And with officials from his office and every single meeting we attended and the support of all our representatives in Washington, we were able to convince the Department of Transportation that Temecula was a priority. And we truly appreciate that support. I would be remiss without thanking David Turch and his colleague Jamie Jones for all the hard work that you did as our federal lobbyists at the Capitol. An incredible group of folks who I know represent other cities throughout the region. But David, we could not have done this without you. I'd like to give you a special round of applause here. We also created a video during this process. And we actually appreciate that our representatives and even the Department of Transportation indulged us while we played this video. It's got some dramatic music in the background. It's a dramatic scene. And as we met with our representatives in the Department of Transportation, they understood the impact. They understood how important this was, but they also laughed and they said, only California would come to our offices and play a movie with such dramatic music. So anyway, if you could cue up the video for me. All right, so now that I've increased everybody's collective anxiety with regard to traffic, I'd like to introduce our Assistant City Manager, Greg Butler, who's going to talk about the project, Assistant City Manager and Civil Engineer by trade.
Sir. Thank you, Matt. Welcome, everybody. It's great to see such a large crowd out to help us celebrate the victory of this INFRA grant. Before I get started, though, I'd like to recognize a few people that helped out with the grant application, particularly some folks from T.Y. Lin International. They're our design consultant for the French Valley Parkway project, and they're also a key component that helped us put together this grant application. So Robert Mariner, I understand you're in the audience. You traveled, thank you for coming out. Robert flew out from the East Coast to be here today. He's previously with US DOT. He now works with TY Lin International, and he was a key factor in putting our grant application together. His insights were very good in putting together that application. Some of his colleagues that work locally here, Rodrigo Gonzalez, TY Lin's project manager for the design team. He was unable to join us today, but his team's represented by Patrick Bochter. Patrick, are you in the audience today? Way in the back. Patrick, thank you. Thank you and the entire TY Lin team for helping us put together the application and for your efforts thus far in the design. I also want to mention the city team. Kendra Hanna Maestrel, one of our senior engineers here at the city of Temecula. Kendra is the city's current French Valley Parkway project manager, and she led the engineering side of this grant application. I'm told by those in Public Works that they could find her day in, day out during this process, spending all kinds of hours putting together, making sure the technical side of this thing was thorough, complete, and hit every question on the INFRA grant application. So Kendra, excellent job in putting that report together. She, along with Pat Thomas, our Public Works Director, and Amir Achar, our Principal Engineer, put all the technical components together to ultimately submit an award-winning application. Thanks in part to this team, and it's already been mentioned, $50 million of the project cost will be covered by the Federal Highway Administration. Is Hector Santiago here? I understand he's our local FHWA rep. He's already reached out to us, got us started on the grant administration process to make sure that the refund payments that we've fronted the money comes back to us as quickly as possible. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank Mirday Tim. He's our Caltrans project manager. I don't believe he was able to make it today, but I know Mike Beauchamp from Caltrans is here, our director. Mike, please pass along our thanks to Mirday's hard work and dedication. Without him, we wouldn't be able to be where we are today. Now to answer that $50 million, or better yet, $137 million question, what will this fully funded Phase 2 project do for the traveling public? I was supposed to say, as you can see on our large backdrop, but it's blocked over by our big screen. So you have to go take a look at the cake that we've got later or the attachment that you picked up with your flyer. You can see that the full extent of the French Valley Parkway project is rather long. It reaches south of Overland Drive to the south and north of the freeway split. When the project was originally conceived many, many years ago, it was envisioned as a simple freeway overcrossing with complementary on and off ramps at Dayton Cherry Street. You can see what has morphed over time. What started out as likely a $40 to $50 million straightforward freeway interchange has grown into the three-phase major freeway improvement project depicted behind this TV, on the cake and on your flyer. As most of you from the region know, we've completed Phase 1, shown in red on the information, a few years ago and brought some much needed relief to that southbound side of the freeway. We hope to do the same on the northbound side. The scope of Phase 2, though, is challenging to understand simply by looking at it in these flat two-dimensional graphics. French Valley Parkway Phase 2 is shown in blue on the information that you have. You can see a small component of it here on the backdrop. It will construct about 2 miles of improvements along northbound Interstate 15 between Winchester Road and the freeway split. The estimated construction cost of $89 million. The biggest benefit to be realized, as has been mentioned already, is the elimination of the merging and weaving between Winchester Road and the split, which is the cause of much of the backup on northbound Interstate 15 during the evening commute. A physically separated parallel roadway called a collector distributor system, or CD system, will allow vehicles entering the freeway from Winchester Road to have dedicated ramps to either 15 or 215 going north without ever having to enter the flow of traffic. Our media services team created a couple simulations to help paint this picture a little better. Hey Jonathan, could you roll that first video, please? So from this angle here, we're looking due north. You can see the loop on-ramp at Winchester Road and the beginnings of that barrier that's going to separate oncoming traffic or on-ramp traffic from the flow of freeway. It's depicted in red here. And you can see the folks going north, going underneath the bridge, are separated from the freeway flow of traffic. If we can zoom out a little bit, Jonathan, and flash that next video, You can see now that that CD system that also has the red stripe, which represents the wall or barrier separating freeway traffic from on-ramp traffic, extends all the way to the north, just to the split where the 15 and the 215 separate. Jonathan, let's zoom up a little bit and check out the on-ramps. So here you can see on-ramp traffic is physically separated from freeway traffic. You've got the eastbound and westbound on-ramps merging onto our collector distributor system and then traveling north towards where the split is going to go. And if we can get to the next video, you'll see ultimately those drivers in that CD system will have a choice to make to go to the 15 north or the 215 north without ever having to enter the flow of traffic on the freeway lanes. You stay to the left, you'll go on 215 north. You stay to the right, you'll go up and over that 215 traffic and get yourself back down to the ground and merge onto I-15 north after traffic has split and no longer having to weave all the way across the freeway to make your way to I-15 northbound. We believe this is going to be one of the most key factors in eliminating that weaving and eliminating some of the traffic congestion that backs up at times all the way to Escondido. If all goes according to our schedule, we will be ready to list using Caltrans terms in August of 2020. In layman's terms, that means ready to go out to bid. Construction will likely start sometime around March 2021 with a duration of 18 to 24 months. So to our local, regional, state, and federal partners, thank you for your support these many, many years. The city tackled phase 1 a few years back, which alleviated some of the congestion on southbound 215. Thanks to your continued support, with this INFRA grant, we're positioned to deliver phase 2, which will address the primary cause for congestion on northbound 15. But we're not finished. We have one more phase of this regionally significant project to go. The award of this INFRA grant proves that coming together as a region to support projects that are mutually beneficial pays dividends to all of our residents. We look forward to all of your continued support through the completion of this phase as well as the final phase of French Valley Parkway project. And finally, Congressman Calvert, Assistant Secretary Sullivan, on behalf of all the engineers here at the City of Temecula charged with delivering this project, thank you. We hope to see you back here in the future during the groundbreaking ceremony, or at least back when we cut the ribbon and open this up to traffic. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. I also want to give a shout out to Trey Catron. Trey, where are you? Where are you, Trey? Back there? Hey, USC Film School, man. All right. This guy learned the best of the best, and if you ever need somebody to do the filming for you, he's busy working for us. So thank you, Trey. You do a lot of great work. Caltrans District 8 Director Michael Beauchamp is here with us today. Michael, where are you? Come on, stand up and let everybody see you. You're here along with members of your team. Have your team stand up as well, Mike. Are they here? And where's the Cone Kid? Hey, Cone Kid, there you go. Thank you, Mike. In addition to partnering and supporting our French Valley Parkway project, Caltrans has additionally stepped up to construct an auxiliary lane between every on-ramp and off-ramp throughout Temecula. Cumulatively, these projects should cure the weaving and merging Greg just talked about and all the other issues that we just talked about on the I-15 and eliminate the congestion it causes. The auxiliary lanes will cost close to $50 million. And so, Congressman, I'm just putting you on notice. We may come back to you here after a little while. The city will take the lead on the first auxiliary lane project from Temecula Parkway to Rancho California Road along the northbound 15. And that's going to be at a cost of about $7 million. So, if you travel down the 15 freeway going north and you enjoy those auxiliary lanes that are about to be built, thank a citizen of the city of Temecula because that's coming out of our general fund, okay? Jonathan, we're getting a little bit of feedback here. Can we see if we can try to eliminate that? Thanks. Mike Beauchamp, we appreciate your excellent leadership and tracking the auxiliary lanes. Also, the shop funds, you guys are contributing to it as well. I have to tell you, the support of your department and your team has been nothing short of fantastic. And I want everybody to know that. Excellent work on behalf of Caltrans. The city would also like to thank RCTC for its continued support and great advice. Miss Transportation is here. Ann, where are you? How many projects has Ann got under her belt as leader of RCTC? Ann, traffic in Riverside moves because of you and a great executive board. So thank you for being here. Yeah, go ahead, Ann. Ann, as executive director of RCTC, along with all the traffic consultants, told us, get the French Valley Parkway constructed. And with $47 million of state funds programmed by RCTC for its construction, we are going to do just that. Supervisor Chuck Washington is also the chairman of RCTC, and as former mayor of Temecula, understands the critical need for this project. Thank you both. Now, my Mayor Pro Tem, James Stu Stewart, has the honor to introduce our guest of honor. Stu?
All right. Well, thank you again for all coming. I do want to do a little backtrack before I do introduce our guest of honor. Earlier this year, we met with Congressman Calvert, and he comes to City Hall and gives us all the information on the federal legislation that's going down. And we had one thing on our agenda, and this was this $50 million INFRA grant, because we knew that if we did not get this INFRA grant, it was going to be a dead project for a very, very long time. So Congressman Calvert actually admitted that he got stuck in this Temecula crawl a couple of times. So he was very familiar with what we were asking for. So we basically went on to explain that if we lost this INFRA grant, we were going to lose the other $50 million that we had already acquired because we would have timed out. So in his words, he says, "We'll get you the money." So I'll never forget the day when we found out, because we were at the CRC for the opening of the new pool we just refinished. And Aaron came up and whispered in our ears, because it couldn't be made public until Congressman Calvert made it public, but he whispered in our ears and said, "We got the grant." And I call that my shock and awe moment. I was shocked we got it. And then I was in awe of Congressman Calvert for making this happen. So he did a lot of string pulling behind the scenes. And so he definitely earned his keep. So thank you very much, Congressman Calvert. And we are grateful, and we would just want to recognize all the things that you have done for this valley. I mean, just this stretch of freeway feeds into basically all of the towns on Southwest Riverside County. So it's so important to all of us. So in grateful recognition for your dedication and commitment to the traffic congestion along the 15, I want to invite Congressman Calvert up along with our council mates.
Congressman, we're going to have you say a few words, but I do want to get the council up here first and just take a quick picture with you.
Okay.
And we have some things we want to do before you speak, okay?
All right.
So just step on over here with me real
Okay.
quick, and you step right here in the middle. Okay? All right. So, Congressman, first thing we want to do is present you with a little gift, and we'd like you to open it. Exactly. Now, Congressman, you probably have 1,000 of these on your wall, but this is a official certificate of appreciation from the city of Temecula. Thank you. But wait, Councilmember Edwards, would you please help Congressman Calvert off with his jacket? We have another one we'd like to replace that with. Congressman, this is an official City of Temecula Letterman jacket. They're given to guests of honor and city council alumni and current council members. Congressman, it's our honor to give the podium to you right now. Oh, you want to put your jacket back on? We'll help you do that.
I'll just put the mic on this.
Sounds good.
I think the folks have that taken care of. Well, thank you. Number one, I appreciate representing this area along with Duncan Hunter. I see Duncan just earlier. Duncan's my friend and colleague, and we all work together on projects like this, and it's a privilege when we're successful to give needed dollars to this area. I can tell you, I was born and raised out here. I remember before they had the freeway, it was just the old highway, 395. I would go to college at San Diego State in those days, and things have changed here in Temecula, Murrieta. But I certainly want to thank Stu for that kind introduction. It's great to be here. This I-15, 215 northbound interchange, it was just mentioned as a traffic nightmare for commuters. In fact, I experienced a little bit of that last night. I was over at the Naval Base in San Diego and was getting through here at rush hour last night trying to get to another appointment. I barely made it. But I want to thank the local leaders for stepping up to tackle this tremendous challenge for the many years that has been put into this. I was proud to help Temecula win this INFRA grant we're celebrating today. Let me tell you, these grants aren't easy to win. There was about 200 applications with a combined cost of $9.8 billion. And we were competing really for just $856 million within the infra part of that. Of the 200 projects, only 20 were selected. French Valley Parkway was one of only 10 large projects selected for an award. Furthermore, many of the winners received less than their full application amount. But the French Valley application was so strong that Temecula received its full request. And this is an achievement on all of. Been proud to support this project, but none of it would have been possible without the people in attendance today's ceremony. I want to commend the I-15 Regional Task Force, which is comprised of local cities, state, and local officials, Riverside County, State of California, tribes, and several councils of government. I'd also like to thank the federal partners in the process, including my friend Duncan Hunter, the Department of Transportation, the Marine Corps Base Camp Pendleton, the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, and certainly all of your support was critical in demonstrating the national impacts this project has on this grant. We're also joined today by Assistant Secretary Adam Sullivan. Adam, from the U.S. Department of Transportation. Thanks for taking the time to travel to our community and share in today's celebration. Secretary Shao and the department's commitment to rebuilding our nation's infrastructure, and it's certainly greatly appreciated. Also want to recognize Betsy Lowry from City of Temecula for organizing this event, for all of her hard work, get this all done. Finally, I'd like to give thanks to the Temecula council members, certainly Mayor Michael Nagar, Mary Ann Edwards, Zach Shank, how do you pronounce that? Schwank, Zach Schwank. Mayor Pro Tem James Stewart, Stu, and Matt Ron. Without their tireless advocacy for the French Valley Parkway, we would not be here today. Everyone here takes part in the legacy of bringing critical solutions to our region. Thank you for your commitment to the people of Riverside and San Diego counties. Our future is bright, and let's get more money to do the rest of the improvements. So thank you very much.
Now I'd like to turn the mic over to my council colleague, Mary Ann Edwards.
Well, thank you, Mike. Congressman Calvert is modest in the sense that he has now provided this wonderful corridor to our right, and we haven't mentioned all that he did to help us improve our Murrieta Creek, which is over to our left. So you could sort of say that Temecula is a Ken Calvert sandwich, since he has improved dramatically both of the creek and the freeway. So thank you, Ken, for all that you've done for Temecula. And it really does speak to our region in general when we can all come together and accomplish things like this. But of course, it wouldn't have been possible without your help. So thank you again. We have another congressman today. Duncan Hunter was here earlier, and Temecula is fortunate to have two congressmen representing our interests. And when they first decided to do the redistricting, we did have some qualms, but it has worked out beautifully. French Valley Phase 2 project in the north happens to fall within Congressman Calvert's district, and down at the south, we're in Duncan Hunter's district. So we all know that Interstate 15 traffic crosses many jurisdictional boundaries. So it really did take a considerate joint effort with Caltrans, all of our other partners, to accomplish this. So we're grateful to everyone who helped. We also have someone from Senator Dianne Feinstein's office here today, Mary Dover. Where are you, Mary? Mary, there she is. Thank you for coming, and please relay our gratitude to Senator Feinstein for her support of the city's INFRA grant application. We appreciate that she took the time to familiarize herself and understand the critical need. So I'm sure she may have been at one point caught in that traffic as well. So we have our wonderful neighbors and partners, the Pechanga Band of Luiseño Indians, and I know Jacob's here. So Pechanga representatives, please stand up. We appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. They are supportive in everything that the city does. They're wonderful partners to work with. And, we've been a city for only 30 years, and they've been here since time immemorial. So I always say, have a little patience with us. So November is also Native American Heritage Month, and we recognize each year, especially on November 15th, we have declared that day Pechanga Puesca Mountain Day, which is one of our own local holidays. And we celebrate with Chairman Macaro is here along with members of the tribe. So thank you so much for being here again. We can always count on Pechanga. They met with officials of the United States Department of Transportation while in Washington, D.C. They sent letters, they made phone calls on our behalf, and Pechanga is truly a partner with the city of Temecula on the I-15, and they made a substantial contribution to the ultimate interchange. So we will be moving much better, again, thanks to Pechanga. We also have the Pala Band of Mission Indians here, so happy Native American Heritage Month to you as well. Pala has proactively reached out to the city to seek solutions to the I-15 traffic. They're in a unique position with the new mapping apps. The traffic is now overflowing, trying to get off the freeway, and it's going through the rural roads within their reservation and causing all kinds of challenges for them. So sometimes we don't think of those ancillary issues that take place, but that's one of them. We appreciate their letter of support and their ongoing efforts to work with us to solve Interstate 15's traffic issues. And Pala is 10 to 20 minutes south of the project, which goes to show that how extensive the backup is and the congestion is. So this project is long overdue, and we're so grateful to Congressman Calvert and everyone. There are so many other people here to recognize as we pour out our thanks for the critical need and to address these issues for infrastructure, for funding in the valley. Growth here is tremendous, as you well know, and so the congestion would only continue to get worse. So thank you all and we need to keep supporting each other in these projects because we don't want to push problems up the freeway. So thank you to all of our neighbors who are here. Murrieta, I saw Kelly here, which we love to call Murrieta Temecula Norte. They call us Baja Murrieta, so that gives you an idea of the partnerships that we have. So thank you again all so much. When we get together like this with wonderful representation like Congressman Calvert and the others, we all win. So thank you for celebrating this win with us today.
Thank you, Councilmember Edwards. We have a few other federal organizations we were saving for last. And so we'll focus a little now on our state, county, and local government and organizations. We're attempting to make this as efficient today because I know all of your time is important. So we're going to give everybody their due recognitions and gratitude. And when I call your name, if you can just please stand and be recognized. Also, after these formalities, we're going to cut the cake, enjoy live music and appetizers. We'd also like to take a lot of group photos, and a photo of this many elected officials certainly is going to be historic. I'd like to see them play it 30 or 50 years from now and see how this group of elected officials and public servants solved traffic problems. So, Senator Stone, or former Senator Stone, had planned to attend before he was appointed as a Western Regional Director for the United States Labor Department. But in his absence, we have his staff here representing the 28th Senatorial District. Who do we have? We have Debbie, we have John. It's just the two of you. Debbie and John, please stand up, representing Senator Stone. He served us well, and we thank him for his support on the INFRA grant and everything that we've done as a city, from his days on the Temecula City Council to being elected as our county supervisor and then our senator. We wish him the best in his new job. Assemblywoman Melendez, Melissa, stand up, who's now running for Senator Stone's vacant seat, has joined us today. Interestingly, her assembly district boundary bisects the French Valley Parkway project in half at Murrieta and Temecula boundary. This indeed is to the project's benefit, as we have two very strong assembly members advocating for this project. Assemblywoman, we are very grateful you could be with us today, and grateful for your support on this program and grant. We wish you well on your campaign for the 28th District. California's minority Republican leader, Assemblymember Marie Waldron, is in Nevada right now. Her district director, Christy McDougal, is here in her place. Christy, where are you? Hey, Christy, stand up. As the California Assembly Minority Leader and very active on behalf of the city of Temecula and northern San Diego County, we knew Assemblymember Waldron's voice would be heard, and we appreciate her support. And our very good friend, our Honorable County Supervisor Chuck Washington. As our former mayor and long-term council member, the city deeply appreciates your time and successful efforts, Chuck, to continuously advocate for our region's infrastructure and critical needs for federal funding assistance. We are fortunate for your long and solid history of support here, and also the intimate understanding of this interstate project and also its phased development. What? What's going on down here? Okay, very good. Chuck and Melissa have this thing. Did you just endorse her? Is that what just happened? Okay, all right. Okay, it's a former Navy thing going down here in the front row. All right, to our neighboring cities. Seriously, nothing in this region and nothing in this city gets done by any one person. It's always a collaboration. All of your supportive collaboration on regional issues and task forces are now coming to fruition. We're stronger together. City of Murrieta, is your council here, Kelly? Or is it just you, Kelly Ciardo? Mayor of Murrieta. Thanks for being here, Kelly. If you look on a map, half the French Valley Parkway technically runs through Murrieta. So thanks for being here. City of Wildemar, do we have Councilmember Morabito? Councilmember, stand up, please. Thank you for your support. City of Lake Elsinore, is Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Teasdale here? He's not here, but we do have road infrastructure champion Bob McGee, who works tirelessly as my colleague on RCTC. Bob, we thank you for all your work on the I-15 task force along with us. It's much appreciated that you're here and your collaboration in Temecula. Is City of Menifee Mayor Zimmerman here? Bill, are you here? Well, we appreciate City of Menifee's collaboration and support as well. Now, as we come close to the end of our program, I do want to introduce our fifth council member. He couldn't be here today. He is attending his SCAG meeting as our representative, voting on some regional housing need assessment issues, but he did want to talk to us through video that he recorded earlier. Councilmember Schwank.
Hello, I'm Zach Schwank. I wish I could be there today, but I'm currently at a Southern California Association of Governments meeting in LA where they need my vote on behalf of our region. As the City Council's newest elected council member, transportation and solving traffic issues and traffic flow are high on my list of priorities. I dived right into participating on transportation agencies as a Riverside Transit Agency representative for Temecula, and now recently elected as a SCAG District 5 representative for Temecula, Murrieta, and Menifee. I believe Larry Rubio, Executive Director for RTA, is there. I wish I could be too. Both RTA and SCAG provided strong support of the city's INFRA grant to build the French Valley Parkway project. The regional support extends far beyond transportation organizations. Western Riverside Council of Governments, thank you. Southern California Legislative Council, we are grateful. There are also many individuals here also representing the Murrieta Temecula group. The importance of fixing Interstate 15 within our region cannot be overstated. You may have noticed on the I-15 traffic crisis video, this project will specifically address the nation's fourth worst congested hotspot in the United States in terms of economic cost and the 10th worst congested area overall. We are a major corridor of freight, commerce, and tourism, not just commuters. Our local chambers submitted their support, including the Murrieta Wildemar Chamber and the Lake Elsinore Valley Chamber. Thank you both. And I'd also like to thank our Economic Development Coalition serving all our 5 cities. I'm told their president, Keith Krasuski, and executive director, Don Murray, are with you all today. I may be showing some bias, but a huge shout out to our very own Temecula Valley Chamber of Commerce. The city has had many discussions with our chamber and board members in the past about Interstate 15. Chamber Chairman Brian Connors, former CEO Alice Sullivan, we sincerely thank the chamber for always being the best business partner to our community and support to our city. We appreciated your letters and calls to the U.S. Department of Transportation. And to our new CEO, Emily Filipino, we hope that in your time as executive director, the I-15 traffic congestion will not be a crisis. You may have heard Visit Temecula Valley reports a $1.1 billion tourism industry in Temecula Valley. I'm informed Visit Temecula Valley was slightly distraught when they saw the traffic crisis video, worried it would deter visitors from Temecula. Probably a little confused since we typically produce videos that are positive and beautiful to attract visitors to our beautiful valley. We will archive this video and hope that the I-15 never looks that way again. Thank you to Chairman Scott Wilson and Executive Director Kimberly Adams. I'll be taking public transportation back to Temecula, so I don't have to deal with the traffic and can relax and check my email. Many thanks to everyone there today.
Thank you, Zach. Dr. Ron, come on back up.
All right. So I wanted to save toward the end here recognition of some of our important federal partners who are represented here today. They should have been recognized ahead of state and regional, but I kind of wanted to save them for my part. I'm very proud we reached out to bring our neighbors, Marine Corps Base Camp Pendleton and our Temecula Border Patrol into this conversation and part of the support for this project. They both stayed engaged with our city throughout this. They both expressed concerns about the traffic issues. Camp Pendleton, as you saw in the video, mentioned that the French Valley project will reduce transit times for operational units and movement of troops and equipment along the I-15 corridor to other installations. This is particularly important during movements for sort of international issues. And then we also see those convoys that move regularly as well. Additionally, Marine Corps Base Camp Pendleton has about 40,000 military personnel, with about 12,000 of them commuting off base, many of them here into the Temecula Valley. The general recognized that this project would not only improve operational movements of military vehicles, but also enhance the readiness of those troops and the consideration of the ongoing deployment cycles, and basically allowing these folks to spend more time with their families than on our freeways. Think about it. The last thing deployed Marines need when they return home are hours sitting on our freeway for the country that they defend. So we are grateful to be able to submit a letter from Department of Defense as part of this I-15 task force and their support. And the same goes for our friends with U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Customs, and Border Protection. Thank you all for joining us here this afternoon. And thank you for taking all the time that you did with us in our offices last year to talk about these issues. Their Temecula checkpoint is located in the center of the I-15, deepest part of that congestion. And that border checkpoint in Temecula is among the largest ingress routes for illicit activities and goods into the country and into the United States. And they corrected me when I said this is the second line of defense into the U.S. They told me this is the last line of defense. And fixing heavy traffic is important for us, for our community, and for our national security. We support our military and border protection. We are grateful they were able to submit a letter on behalf of the city for this application. And then in terms of public safety, we also thank our police and firefighters for engaging in this conversation, not just the CAL FIRE and Sheriff's Department, but our folks at CHP as well. On average, nearly 2 accidents, if you want to get technical, 1.73 accidents occur every day on the 7-mile stretch from San Diego County border to the I-15-215 junction. Nearly 2 accidents per day. You can imagine our first responders were quick to help support this application and do what they can to make sure that the public is as safe as they can be on that transportation corridor. So I just wanted to thank CAL FIRE and, of course, Riverside County Sheriff's Department and Sheriff Chad Bianco for all of their support in this application process as well. And with that, I'll turn it back over to Mike.
Thank you very much. We said earlier that we almost lost this project. We worked hard to get state transportation funds, and we got them, only to find out that when we went out to bid, the project more than doubled. We almost lost this project altogether, and if we didn't get it done now, chances are it would never, ever be done in the future. I can't have enough gratitude to Adam Sullivan, who's here from the U.S. Department of Transportation and who is the Assistant Secretary, all the way from Washington, D.C. Thank you for coming. We'd like to have you up and say a few words.
Well, thank you very much for that nice introduction. It's a great pleasure to be here with all of you today. I thank Congressman Calvert and the entire community for the invitation. The I want to extend the Secretary's warm congratulations and best wishes also. One of our top priorities at the U.S. Department of Transportation is to repair and rebuild and revitalize the U.S. Infrastructure to enhance the safety, the productivity, and the quality of life for everyone. So I'm really pleased to be here to play a role in presenting a check this afternoon on behalf of Secretary Chow to the city. Late this summer, as was noted, the department announced almost $900 million in Infrastructure for Rebuilding America grants, or INFRA grants. Only 20 nationwide, as the congressman mentioned. And as he also noted, the competition was incredibly intense. The win rate nationwide was a little less than 10%. And that underscores how proud you all can be and should be of this accomplishment. Everything that you did at the local and state level, and with the support of Congressman Calvert and your entire delegation to make this a reality. Efforts like this bring a lot of different communities and leaders together, and it shows that on infrastructure, bipartisan cooperation can certainly yield important and impressive results. So let me end here by saying congratulations again for being one of this year's few winners. The Department of Transportation is certainly proud to be your partner in building a stronger future for this community and all of the United States. With that, I'd love to take a second to present a check.
Mr. Secretary, if I can have my council colleagues join me up here, our Congress member. On behalf of the city of Temecula, Mr. Secretary, we accept your $50 million. All right. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to conclude our program. I'd like to invite our city manager, Aaron Adams, with some final closing comments. Aaron?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. In closing, you heard today how many individuals and agencies were responsible and behind this concerted effort. I've been calling today this our gratitude event, and that is truly what it was meant to be. You also heard how, and were shown how this $136 million improvement will look when it's completed and what it was engineered and designed to do. For me, both personally and professionally, I too would just like to say thank you to each and every one of you that's here today as our stakeholders and our partners, and your willingness to get behind the city of Temecula. A special thanks to Congressman Ken Calvert and also Mr. Sullivan for making the efforts to be here from DOT. Congressman, you personally called me, as was mentioned, when it was known that we had been successful, and I will always remember that conversation. It means a lot. And just a quick story about that phone call. As was mentioned, I was in a meeting. I did not recognize your phone number, and I sent it to voicemail. And it was probably the only time I will ever send a $50 million phone call into my voicemail. So I was quick to call him back. As was shared today, while our name was on the INFRA application, the benefits of this INFRA grant and this project are truly regional. We all will be better off with the funding in place and the completion of the French Valley Parkway Phase 2. And this event did not come together overnight. And there was a team of individuals citywide that helped put this together that did an absolutely amazing job. But I would be remiss if I didn't recognize the one individual that led this effort, also worked on the INFRA grant, but really pulled all this together, pulled all of you to be here today. So please join me in congratulating Betsy Lowry, our assistant to the city manager. On behalf of the city of Temecula, thank you all for coming. God bless you all. Have a great afternoon.